This is RTV6 News at Noon, working for you.
24 cases of COVID-19 are now confirmed in Indiana. The state health department says the virus is now spread to at least 13 Indiana counties. The number is expected to go higher as more tests are given. And it's another big drop on Wall Street. Taking a look at the live board, the Dow down more than 1,700 points right now, and trading was just halted just minutes after the markets opened this morning due to another dramatic fall in stock prices. And breaking this midday, more restrictions just announced by Governor Holcomb. Indiana is now joining every state that surrounds it, shutting down bars and restaurants to in-person service. On the governor's order, that means bars and restaurants throughout the state will have to be closed to patrons through the end of at least March. There's no specific time for that closure to take effect. The governor's office says it will happen as soon as reasonably feasible. Restaurants will be allowed to continue takeout and delivery services. Indiana was the last state among its neighbors to order the closure of bars and restaurants following the new CDC guidelines on social distancing. Those guidelines call for a limit on gatherings of more than 50 people for the next 8 weeks. We will hear more from the governor about those plans at 2:30 this afternoon. You can watch that media briefing live at theindychannel.com and also on the RTV6 Facebook page. The governor also says that the state is working on a contingency plan for the 16 school districts that have not yet canceled classes due to the coronavirus outbreak. Most schools here in the state of Indiana are now off school, and the districts are working hard to make sure students who need meals have them. IPS is getting creative in order to avoid large crowds. The IPS food service team is passing out free prepackaged meals in the parking lot at 7 different schools and 2 apartment complexes. You can find a list of those sites and times as well as other locations across central Indiana by going to our website, theindychannel.com. And in addition to state and local governments, the federal government and healthcare industry is looking at dramatic measures to stop the rapid spread of this virus. The extraordinary steps all having a profound effect on the country and also our economy. ABC's Inez de la Cutera has more.
This morning, officials around the country taking extreme measures to halt the spread of the coronavirus pandemic. New CDC guidelines urging Americans to cancel or postpone gatherings of 50 people or more. The restaurant industry taking a big hit. The entire state of Ohio closing all bars and restaurants. Illinois and other cities only allowing takeout or delivery. And California's governor calling on all bars to close while requesting home isolation for everyone 65 and over.
We believe that is appropriate under the circumstances to move in that direction.
With the president banning travel from European countries, American citizens and legal residents now rushing home, overwhelming airports. Drive-through testing now increasing. The administration announcing testing is available in all 50 states, with more than 2,000 additional labs coming online with high-speed testing, but it's still unclear how accessible that testing will be.
You don't have to buy so much. Take it easy. Just relax.
President Trump urging calm, asking Americans not to panic buy, but images outside of Costco in Commerce, California, showing that's easier said than done. To help the economy, the Federal Reserve now lowering interest rates to near 0%.
I want to congratulate the Federal Reserve.
But that move prompting the Dow to plunge, the S&P 500 index declining by 7% this morning, triggering a 15-minute trading halt. Officials now warning the outbreak could get worse before it gets better.
The worst is yet ahead for us.
And the first vaccine trial for COVID-19 begins today in Seattle, but it could take more than a year to approve. Inez de la Cutera, ABC News, Washington.
And back here at home, we got to get a check of our forecast. Here's a look at our Weather Now cameras all around central Indiana. Todd, as people are getting the news that they can't go out into some of these restaurants, I think people are hoping this week maybe they could get outside, maybe go for a nice walk, get out of our houses.
Yeah, you'll be able to get outside. There's not going to be a ton in the way of sunshine heading our way. We'll have to dodge some rain showers. But temperatures definitely this week will continue to improve. Here's what we have going on right now. A few spotty showers up towards Lafayette. You see mixing with a few few snowflakes the further north you get. Here in central Indiana, though, we're just expecting some rain showers to move through. A lot of this south of Bloomington is not reaching the ground. Where the rain is reaching the ground is across the state line in Illinois, and that will make its way here into central Indiana. However, it will do so in a weakening state, as this is kind of going to branch off from the main area of low pressure that is down to the south. Temperatures right now range from 44 in Bloomington to 38 up in Peru. Temperatures today will cap off in the mid to upper 40s across the area as these light rain showers make their way through the area from time to time. If you see one of these rain showers, it should be very brief as well. That is the good news. We do get some sunshine back in the forecast tomorrow for your St. Patrick's Day. More on that coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. 10 EMTs in Johnson County remain in quarantine as a safety precaution. The fire chief tells RTV6 that the EMTs were in contact with a patient that may have had COVID-19. The quarantine comes after a call on Saturday for a patient with respiratory problems who ultimately stopped breathing and did not survive. Tests are now being run to determine if that patient had the coronavirus. The fire department is taking recommendations from the CDC, which means 8 EMTs are now in quarantine at the old fire station on Mullenix Road, and 2 are in quarantine at home. The fire chief says the community should not be alarmed.
In fact, I would say the exact opposite. We have procedures in place. Our crews provided excellent patient care. They took the proper precautions. They got the administration involved, and we're keeping them safe and healthy away from their families so that we don't, contribute to the problem or contribute to the spread.
If the EMTs have to be quarantined for 14 days, this will impact the department, but Chief Pell says they're prepared to get their spots filled as quickly as possible. Only on RTV6, the state's former top health commissioner is on the fight against COVID-19. Coming up, how this pandemic is similar to a health crisis 30 years ago. We'll be right back.
Night event continues tonight on ABC.
Today, the concern is over the coronavirus pandemic. 30 years ago, there was uncertainty about AIDS and HIV, and the Hoosier teen Ryan White, who brought national attention to this health issue. Only on RTV6, former state health commissioner Dr. Woody Meyer sat down with our Rafael Sanchez on the lessons learned from Ryan in calming fears and promoting facts.
Based on what you did with the AIDS crisis and the Ryan White situation, how do we maneuver in this pandemic age?
Well, it's very important when talking to the public to talk about what you do know and why you know it, and then what you don't know and why you don't yet know it, and what you're doing to bring your information levels higher. The public needs to have confidence that its officials know what they're talking about. And the first time a public official tells a mistruth or gets something wrong, that decreases the public's willingness to believe. And that's one of the biggest problems we've got today, Rafael, and that's that we don't have testing on demand. And we need that. And that means that all Indiana laboratories have to get geared up in order to do the test, and those results have to come back quickly. That's the biggest gap that we have right now. And then you could calm the fears of those in your household who are not reacting well to this change in society. The folks that had tickets to the game, that wanted to go, that are now upset because of that. They need to understand that the decisions weren't made lightly. The decisions were made with an abundance of caution. The statistical likelihood of the virus actually being passed from the person sitting on your left to the person sitting on your right is low, but it's not zero. And given the times that we are in, given the rapidity of spread, given the fact that we're already up to about a dozen cases in Indiana that we know about and many, many more that we don't yet know about, these are the things that are likely to reduce the rate of spread and therefore increase our ability to prevent new infection.
So how do we deal with the issue of people who are irrational? Because sometimes it appears that the irrational beats out the facts, that facts get knocked out by opinion. So how did you do it? Because that's where we're at now, don't you think? Where people they think they know, but we don't know.
We don't know 100%, but we do know a lot. And the way we did it back in the 80s is the same way I recommend we do it today. Science trumps misinformation. We have to rely on the science.
And Dr. Myers there says that he hopes Indiana will receive more COVID-19 test kits. A reminder that Dr. Myers is the Democratic candidate for governor here in Indiana this year. Well, there are some new developments every day with the coronavirus, and we've developed a special section of our website to make the latest information easy for you to find. You can visit theindychannel.com/coronavirus. Well, they say they're the law enforcement, but they're probably on the other side of the law. Next, how you can spot scammers when your phone rings. And here's a live look from our Weather Now camera on top of the pagoda out at the Speedway, pointing back towards the city skyline. We'll have Todd Clausen's full Storm Team 6 forecast for your week ahead. That's coming up right here on the News at Noon.
Visit TomWoodSubaru.com.
It's time now for another RTV6 Consumer Alert. I'm joined by the Better Business Bureau's Tim Maniscalco. And Tim, today we are talking about scammers who are targeting people, and they are posing as police organizations trying to raise money. But this money obviously is not going to your local police department or maybe the family of a fallen officer.
You're right. We get a lot of calls and a lot of complaints about that particular type of scam where organizations will say, hey, I'm from the FOP or some other organization collecting for the police. And it is particularly a big scam if there's someone who has fallen in the line of duty and they're trying to collect for that person. Everybody says, hey, I want to give. A couple of things here. They tend to use these organizations really high pressure tactics, those types of things. And that's not how an organization that legitimately is going to ask for money. They're not going to be doing that type of thing. And in fact, I've actually talked to the president of the local FOP. They don't even use phone solicitation anymore. So I think that's good to know that if you get somebody that says they're from the local FOP, you know that that's a phony one. So if you do get this, number one, and you do want to do a little bit of homework, check to see if that organization really is, registered and are they really a legitimate organization. You always check that out. And then just don't be intimidated by these real hard sales tactics. They're really trying to just goad you into something, and that's not how legitimate organizations. But we do get a lot of complaints about this, and it's a great cause, and you want to make certain your money's going to, the police and the things that they support, and not going to someone else who's not going to use that money for good.
Right. And always, if you're uncertain, you can call that local department or sheriff's office and say, okay, where is the right place to send this money?
Absolutely. That's a great way to do it.
All right, Tim, this has been another RTV6 Consumer Alert.
Meredith, thank you. This midday, police are still investigating the city's latest homicide. This happened just north of downtown overnight. Metro Police say officers found a man with a gunshot wound just before 4 o'clock this morning at 16th Street and North College Avenue. Police say that man later died at a hospital. Investigators have not released any information about a possible suspect. Even as the nation's business slows down during this COVID-19 outbreak, the race for the White House continues. Voters in 4 states will go to the polls tomorrow in primaries. Primary elections are scheduled for Florida, Arizona, Illinois, and Ohio. Joe Biden is favored over Bernie Sanders in the race for the Democratic nomination, and solid wins in all of those states could give Biden an insurmountable lead in the delegates. Tomorrow's primaries could be the last ones for a while, though, because of the coronavirus. Georgia has moved its March 24th primary to May 19th. Louisiana has also postponed its primary that was scheduled for April 4th. It will now happen in June.
It's the Method Man for short, Mr. Left. Move it on your left.
Well, Method Man and the rest of the Wu-Tang Clan are trying to keep people safe during this coronavirus outbreak. Today, the hip-hop legends posted this graphic to Twitter. It shows how you can use the letters of the Wu-Tang to remind yourself how to protect your neck against the virus. The group says it's printing a few thousand of these to distribute across New York City. There you go. Out here downtown, view to the west, it's kind of a gloomy looking day out there. Todd, a lot of people wondering what they should do today now that everything is canceled, called off. A lot of people are home, kids are home. What can they expect the rest of the afternoon?
We are going to see a few spotty showers start to make their way into the area. They're all going to be very, very light, though. That is the good news. We are not looking at any heavy rainfall, so if you want to get out and about and take that walk, maybe grab the umbrella. You may have to pop it up briefly, but we're not going to get into any real heavy downpours. That is the good news. The temperature right now, that sits at 43 degrees. The winds are the southwest at 5 miles per hour. The wind 9 not an issue here throughout the day today. And anywhere you are, temperatures are in the 40s with the exception of to the north. 38 right now in Peru, 42 in Martinsville, 44 is the current temperature in Bloomington, and off to the east, Richmond, you're sitting at 41. We'll go up a couple more degrees here for afternoon highs, anywhere between about 44 and 48 degrees across the area, with those skies that'll be mostly cloudy and these spotty showers moving in. And you can already see some of these showers starting to develop across parts of the area. Some light rain moving through Delphi over into the Monticello area, as well as into Kokomo down towards Frankfort. Once you get north of Monticello, actually dealing with a little bit of snow flurry activity. You don't have to worry about any accumulation. Then here in southern locations, Bloomington, Nashville, Bedford, we're dealing with a few spotty showers as well. So these will make their way through the area from west to east. They should weaken as they come through the state of Indiana. That is the good news. And so that's why I don't think you really need to cancel your plans. Just know that there will be the opportunity for some scattered showers here and there across the region throughout the afternoon and into the evening hours tonight. And even a couple of them could linger into tomorrow morning. These are the kind of showers that'll wet the ground, but not create any big puddles across the area. They're not going to be that heavy. So to this evening, temperatures will be in the 40s with those mostly cloudy skies. Now going forward in this forecast, tomorrow's St. Patrick's Day, and we'll have temperatures that will rebound up into the 50s with skies that'll be partly to mostly cloudy. I do think tomorrow we get into a little bit more in the way of sunshine across the area. So that will be good news to get out and about, especially the second half of the day. We may have some clouds that linger at first, and then once we get to Wednesday, you notice that precipitation and the rain comes back into the forecast. That was a timetable during the afternoon and evening hours on Wednesday for the rain, and some of those showers will even linger into Thursday as well. The trade-off, though, is we will really start to moderate the temperatures. By the time we get to Wednesday, we're into the upper 50s, probably some locations easily into the upper 60s on Wednesday as that warm front comes through. Once the warm front's to our north, Thursday we are up to 70 degrees. Friday, a little cooler at 68, and the cold front will come through on Friday with it a round of showers and thunderstorms, followed by quiet weather for next weekend, but colder temperatures will be back up down into the 40s, but Saturday and Sunday look to be dry. So we have some warmer temperatures coming our way. That is the good news, but with the warmer air will also come those spring-like showers that will be off and on.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Stick around. We'll have more for you just ahead here on the news at noon. You're watching RTV6.
Exterior remodeler.
Well, Italy, as you may know, is under a complete lockdown due to the coronavirus outbreak. That includes famed tenor Maurizio Marchini. So for the last few days, Maurizio has been serenading his neighborhood in Florence from his balcony. That's pretty awesome. I wish we had neighbors like that, Todd. In Spain, there's widespread lockdowns as well because of COVID-19. So a fitness instructor in Seville decided that since people couldn't leave their homes, he would bring exercise class to them. He's teaching class from the roof of his apartment building to the people there in the apartments surrounding him. Got to keep the people moving while they're stuck inside. And Bob Schellert wasn't going to let the coronavirus outbreak get in the way of celebrating a big day. Bob and his wife Nancy marked their 67th wedding anniversary this weekend, but Nancy is in a nursing home in Connecticut. Because of visitation restrictions during COVID-19, that means Bob couldn't go to see her on their anniversary. So instead, he made this big sign for Nancy and waved it through the window. The sign read, "I've loved you 67 years, and I still do." Gotta love that. A lot of effort, a lot of good stories coming out of this trying time as well, Todd.
Yep.
Like the weather warming up. That's good news.
Yeah, you know, that is going to be the good news, but we'll get into a period where we'll have to be dealing with some scattered showers and maybe a few thunderstorms by Friday. This afternoon, there's some spotty showers as well. Today's, though, will all be very, very light. That's the good news. Still a little bit of a chill in the air today, a high of 48. St. Patrick's Day, 56, partly to mostly cloudy skies, but a dry day tomorrow. And then Wednesday, scattered showers develop 63. Thursday's the warmest at 70 degrees. And then the cold front comes through on Friday with spotty storms, followed by cooler temperatures, but sunshine in the forecast for the weekend.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. And thanks for joining us and making RTV6 your choice for news. We're going to have much more coming up this afternoon with that press conference, and we'll have the news at 5. Please have a great afternoon. Be safe out there.